Thank you for coming around in the opposition house. The people you are seeing here are the opposition strategists.
Inform you of yet another patriotic effort to drag Nigeria out of the dungeon where the President Mohamed Buhari-led administration has dumped it by the regime's unprecedented incompetence and misrule. Nigerians will recall that in 2015, when this administration first came to power, it had campaigned on three key promises to Nigerians. The regime claimed then that it would tackle the security situation of the country, fight corruption, and revamp the economy. 5 years down the line, Nigerians are not in that anymore, that they have fallen victim to political yahoo. They are victims of one chance, and this regime has picked the pocket of Nigerians. Under the watch of this regime, Nigeria has been turned into a killing field. The color of our rivers is now red with blood of innocent citizens. The regime has failed in its fulfillment of the primary purpose of government, which is the protection of lives and properties of citizens. We now have different nomenclature for different theaters of blood in the country. In the northeast, it is called insurgency. In the northwest, it is called banditry. In the north central, it is called herders-farmers clash, while in the southern part, it is referred to as kidnapping. By the provision of the Constitution, the President has the unfettered powers to appoint, in line with the law, heads of all security agencies in the country. These appointments include those of the service chiefs, which are the Chief of Defense Staff, Chief of Army Staff, Chief of Navy Staff, and Chief of Air Staff. The only guide provided by the Constitution are contained in Section 217, Section 218, Section 219, and Section 220 of the Constitution. It therefore means that the failure of the security chiefs fell squarely on the table of the President and on the basis of the failure to provide basic security for Nigerians. We have passed a vote of no confidence on President Buhari and on his appointed service chiefs, as their continued stay undermines national security, demoralizes troops, and a cause of mass resignation and public complaint by soldiers, which cause more damage to our democracy. It is to forestall the impending danger that the opposition coalition CUPP, acting through one of its affiliate members, the APP, has filed a lawsuit at the Federal High Court seeking, among other things, 1, a declaration that the service chiefs have attained the mandatory retirement ages of 60 years or 35 years of service and therefore due for retirement. 2, a declaration that the service chiefs, having attained the mandatory retirement age of 60 years or 35 years of service in the Nigerian Armed Forces, cannot lawfully have their service extended by the President or continue to perform any duty pertaining to their respective offices in the Armed Forces of the Federation. 3, a declaration that upon the attainment of the mandatory retirement age of 60 years or 35 years of service in the Armed Forces of the Federation, the service chiefs cannot be deemed or taken to be serving members of the Armed Forces of the Federation and therefore cannot lawfully remain in office. 4, a declaration that the service chiefs are due for statutory retirement upon their respective attainment of 60 years or 35 years of service in the Armed Forces of the Federation and ought to immediately proceed on 1 month pre-retirement leave and stop further performance of duty forthwith. 5, an order of court directing and compelling the President to direct the service chief to immediately proceed on 1 month pre-retirement leave forthwith. In the alternative, an order of court directing and compelling the service chiefs to forthwith stop performing any duties or exercising any powers of the offices of Chief of Defense Staff, Chief of Army Staff, Chief of Air Staff, Chief of Naval Staff of the Armed Forces of the Federation, respectively. An order of perpetual injunction restraining the President from further reappointing or in any other manner extending the services of the service chiefs in the Armed Forces of the Federation. Nigerian opposition cannot continue to indulge this president and believe that he will change. This president still has close to 3 years left for his regime to constitutionally run out. We can no longer stand on the sidelines and watch him destroy our country irreversible. We must put all hands on deck to make this country work, whether the president likes it or not. We believe that the Federal High Court in the days ahead will grant our prayers and invariably terminate the illegal extension of the tenure of the service chiefs, cause a legitimate change of guard, and revitalize the very low morale of troops at the various theaters. The president has an opportunity before the court delivers his judgment to prove he is commander-in-chief and command with the right people that have the capacity. The president has not only failed by failing to exercise the right to hire and fire, but it is shameful in failing to respect the Constitution on tenure of the service chief, and that is unacceptable and will be fought through the law. Our rivers from Benue to Zamfara, our mountains from Katsina to Calabar, our highways from Enugu to Port Harcourt, Abuja to Kaduna, Benin to Lagos, Okene Aziz of Kogi are all filled with blood and overtaken by kidnappers and bandits. Nigerians demand action from President Buhari, and the president should wake up from his slumber. After 5 years in office, the service chiefs have undoubtedly run out of ideas. They are now virtually doing the same thing over and over and cannot reasonably be expected to get a different outcome. These service chiefs have superintended the spending of trillions of naira budgeted and released to them since their appointment in 2015. If only President Muhammad Buhari were alive to his duties and responsibilities to the Nigerian people, he would have seen this and taken the necessary action of sacking these service chiefs who have overstayed their welcome. But the president, as usual, is not aware. In the last month or thereabout, we witnessed the unfortunate killing of tens of our gallant soldiers by insurgents in Boronu and bandits in Katsina. We have also seen an unprecedented number of our soldiers in their hundreds applying for voluntary retirement from the army for reasons such as going to take chieftaincy title. There is currently in circulation a viral video of soldiers complaining about the quality and quantity of food served to them. A soldier who fights to defend our country should not complain about something as basic as food, adequate arms and ammunition, their allowances and other logistics. But these are daily and regular occurrences now in the Nigerian army. If this incident and events did not send a red signal to the president, then the president cannot help himself anymore. Nigerians live at mercy of terrorists, bandits, and killer herdsmen. Our soldiers are not motivated. Videos have also been released of soldiers complaining of ill treatment, while a former theater commander openly complained, obviously out of frustration and after a deadly Boko Haram attack where he lost several of his men, that they were ill-equipped to confront the ragtag Boko Haram. We hail our gallant soldiers who risk their life daily to contend the state of insecurity despite the hard conditions upon which they operate. They fight without the requisite arms and ammunition. Their allowances are delayed. They are often fed poorly and have in times made to fight on empty stomach. We encourage them. We daily pray for them and we stand with them shoulder to shoulder to ensure they get better deals and improve their welfare and that of their families. They cannot speak for themselves, and we must speak for them. They are the true heroes of our country. They deserve the best our country can offer, both to them and to their family. They leave their family and go to fight so that we can live with our own families. They deny themselves sleep so that we can sleep. Ultimately, they die that we may live. There cannot be any greater sacrifice. Hence, we must not take their sacrifice for granted and allow them to be shortchanged. While the presidency and the ruling APC are busy playing politics with the lives and unity of the country, the insurgents are driving their propaganda through the heart of the nation. Just last week, 5 aid workers who were abducted were executed, as shown in a video released by the insurgent group. The government daily continues to live in denial that no part of the country are under the hold of the terrorists. Yet every credible sources from the northeast state of Boronu, Adamawa, and Yobe show that several local governments are under the effective control of the terrorists. They collect taxes and administer these areas. New blood and new ideas need to be injected into the fight against insecurity in the land. And the president has shown that he is incapable of doing that. Hence, why we have launched the lawsuit to get the court to sack these service chiefs that are incompetent. We hereby and emphatically call on the president, General Muhammad Buhari, to immediately take the path of honor and resign from office and step aside so that we can reclaim our country. Nigeria is succumbing to the heavy burden of his lack of capacity to do anything right. Insecurity, corruption, and a fast collapsing economy stare citizens daily in the face. The massive looting of our national resources is now at an unprecedented level, and our national economy is on a free fall. We are, by this series of action, giving the president 30 days ultimatum to wake up from his slumber and work for Nigerians to reverse the losses to the insurgents, bandits, kidnappers, and herdsmen, and secure our country. The Nigerian opposition coalition, working with the Human Mobilization Unit led by Barrister Kenneth Udeze, shall, at the expiration of the ultimatum, commence mobilization for a nationwide model of all protests to pressure the president to do his job by protecting lives and properties and stopping the current large-scale corrupt activities that have destroyed his regime. He seems not to know that many people have died in Nigeria from violence in this year 2020 than in Mali. Yet, he has remained completely unconcerned. Let us say this to President Muhammad Buhari. Avoid having a history that will be written for you in this following line when it is over. Here lies a man who came to fight corruption but was consumed by corruption. Here is a man who came to fight insecurity and surrendered the country to the bandits and made it very insecure. Here is a man who came to fight and revive the economy but ended up crashing the economy. Enough is enough, and we must all join hands together to save Nigeria from the hands of agents of the enemies of our country. Thank you all.